Hello everyone and welcome back to Cone for the first race of the season. Well, technically the first pre-race of the season, as we aren't hitting round one just yet. But today you are with me and Ben. We're going through Austria for the pre-season race, just to get everyone up in. Just getting into the loading now, and then we'll be soon into qualifying. One of my favourite tracks, Austria. Very, very short, very quick. I'm curious to how it's going to be on the tyres. I haven't done it post-patch, but I know with the new tyre model, well, it's more like the gear ratios they've changed. It is a very, very different beast compared to the last patch. What do you think of Austria, Ben?
Yeah, I think it's a brilliant track. Obviously, shortest on the calendar. Well, at least the quickest on the calendar. I think the tyre strategy will definitely be an interesting one because sometimes you see one stops, you can even see a risky two stop. The softs, and there's also a lot of difference in pace here because it's a really traction based track with a fair few slow traction zones. So a difference in pace in the tyres is going to separate the pack today, I reckon.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. We've only got 16 today. We had a few dropouts later on. Unfortunately, two of my mates, which have done me dirty here, but still a good amount to get into the swing of things as we see the first car coming out. Let's get the telemetry, lap data, and all the info up ready for when we get going. Get the full track. One out already, very quick there from MUFC Harvey, and he's taking a grass when I've just cut to him. So
yeah, I know.
Interesting way of heating up the tyres. I know it's a lot harder this patch. It's going to be interesting because when the game did first come out, I did Austria on a qualifying mode, and it did actually feel like two outlaps was a good option instead of one, with how short the track is and getting up to 10th. But I think we should be okay with a fast winding sector 2 and sector 3.
We'll see. Of course, he seems to be taking this very fast. Actually, hardly going full out on the outlap, as you might. As you said, you need to go hard if you're going to just do one outlap. But yeah, he's. I worry. I hope he's put his setup on because he was out in seconds there.
Yeah, he was.
Maybe it took a bit of delay.
He was very quick out the gates. We probably were a bit delayed. I know. I was doing my intro, so maybe it seemed a bit quicker to us than it was for the drivers. But he's coming across now. We're going to watch him for the rest of his full lap as he's the first out. It's the first of the season. He comes into turn 1. Doesn't take the apex too quickly. More of a compromising line there just to keep the car stable as he comes up into the technical turn 3. Very harsh on traction, braking just around about the 100. Takes a very early apex. It's going to be quite tough to pull the traction out of there, not gaining the straight line that he'd probably want to. As he comes down into turn 4 now. Stays off the curb, which I know many people do. It's a choice that even some of the fastest drivers take. Nice to keep the car stable as you're going through, coming around into the two left-handers. Tricky for understeer this one, very, as we see some traffic just ahead. But I think he's going to be just okay. Taking a fairly decent line around there, carrying the pace. Obviously purple sector as he comes around to be the first car on track. And there we see the first blockage of the season on the first lap of the season.
Brilliant.
Who was that?
No reports of pre-season. I think it was Wild Dog.
Oh, very unfortunate for
Wild
Wild
He's got
Dog.
himself in a bit of hot water. Yeah, Wild Dog actually has a race plan for the first race of the season, and he's spun it as well. So not the best opening lap of the season for Wild Dog, but hopefully we can see great things from him.
Well, he did
showing some promising signs.
Yeah, he did say that he would be spinning off in the Discord chat. So he's came up with a promise, and he's not failed on that. Just watching Warrior Huntsman now, I think he's the second person to be setting a lap after Harvey getting compromised in the last corner. Didn't take.
Fandango's actually finishing.
Fandango, is it? Just invalidated.
Yeah, but he's just invalidated. Commentator's curse. Oh, there we go. Mazzles with a competitive lap. Decent.
159, not too bad. A lot of traffic for Warrior Huntsman here. Many people are coming out at different times. We got some traffic being let out in the last sector, which is good to see. Are we going to see another blockage? Ooh. No. Oh, it's not going to be nice to see for Warrior. It's going to be quite a distraction as he does swing the rear out around the last corner, but he comes across the line for a 106.6.
Yeah, no, I feel like he it must have distracted him seeing someone else spin. Yeah, that Alpha, I think that was Victor in the Alpha, just going for his outlap and then spun the car and might have got a bit of damage. He's heading straight back into the pits now. But yeah, already looks a little bit tricky to get used to the track conditions. Of course, the grip will warm up as we're just at the early stages of qualifying, with only a few drivers having set laps. But for now, it looks like quite a tricky outing for Tier 3 so far.
Yeah, it's a very technical track. Interesting to see how these drivers fare as we see Quick Killer coming around the infamous corner where we've seen a Mercedes not have the best of luck this season and in past seasons, especially with Alex Albon. But it looks like Quick Killer has managed to take it around the corners pretty nicely, setting a purple sector. We'll find out if that's true or not once we get to the line. He's got no traffic in the last sector, unlike the others around him. So it's looking good, but he's taken the apex way too much there, and he's just cut the white line. Trend is also coming around now into the final sector for the Aston Martin. Big news today about the Aston Martins, with Fernando Alonso setting his strides in 2023 for the team. And Trunders comes across the line to go P7 with a 107.1, and he's already just been dropped down to P8. Energy Jet is just.
Sorry, I was just going to say, what do you think of Fernando's move? Do you reckon it's wise? Because I know I've seen a few people saying Aston Martin might be becoming a bit of a retirement home as a team, which isn't really what they want to be.
It's a different one. I guess you could say that with Vettel, but the thing is, Vettel is a brilliant driver, and I completely respect that. But Fernando Alonso, his day today, is still someone who can strive for greatness in F1. As the Energy Jet comes into the pits there, we'll get back on board with Wild Dog. But yeah, honestly, I think it's a bit of a weird one. 2023 is going to be the similar regulations, and Aston Martin in a pickle at the moment this season with how their cars going. And Alpine have been looking decent. They're fourth in the constructors in the real world championship. But yeah, it's a weird one. It's one that time will tell, I think.
Yeah, I know, because it could be. I think it could go very well for him. Well, if Aston sort of get in shape for next season more so than they have, although I don't think that's particularly likely. But you never know, of course. Stranger things have happened. Yeah, I do feel like it might be him taking a bit of a step back, because I mean, is he 40 now?
He'll be somewhere near it, yeah.
Around that age, which I mean, even for Fernando, must be getting on a little bit. Although you never know, the man's capable of very great things in the sport.
Yep, and I think Wild Dog is just coming around. I think he's done a double outlap here, as he's coming around with full battery.
Yeah.
So we'll sit on board with him. Obviously, he's had a blockage in the first portion of this session, which is not good, but hopefully he can bounce back and try and do something in this session to make good of it. But we've got a Haas, Lesty the Twig off in the left-handers. There's two offs actually, so we'll go to that quickly, as we've got Victor Mean also off, someone who was very, very good in the pre-season pace test, did very well in the second set of lobbies. We've got Lesty, who's just been disqualified, unfortunately. Looks like he's been trying to go backwards to get his car back safely without cutting the track dangerously, and he's paid the price for that. We'll go back to Wild Dog now. He's 44 seconds up on his time, which is lovely to see, but we don't actually know how much different that is from his last lap time.
Yeah,
I'm seeing a very last corner, very bad last corner.
Very weird.
He's not invalidated.
Well, he hasn't, but he's getting off. He still comes fifth. He's his tires are 4 laps old.
It's not too bad. I don't think he would have gained time with the line. It seemed quite.
No, definitely not.
Quite exaggerated, but I think that's most people setting times now. We've got Danny, who is on a time of 16.3 for the first sector. As he comes around, we got a bit of clipping from the top of his engine vents there. There's the understeer. It's a very tricky corner. It's one where you've got to nail the turn in, and it's a hard one because when you're getting on the throttle there, it's a bit of a blind exit curb. So when you're coming around and you think you can get the throttle down because you have the traction, but you do it a smidge too early and you're over that white line, and that's the lap over, as it is for Fandango there.
He didn't actually invalidate, and he said so his middle sector split was a 45.9, and interestingly, I mean, for every single driver I've looked at so far, they've done a 45.9 in the middle sector, which was so that's definitely seems to be the sort of tier 3 benchmark right now. Although of course we could see some improvements, but that doesn't imply that he was actually on a very good lap, considering that he went into the gravel and was still setting an equal lap time to the likes of an equal second sector time to the likes of the guys in fourth, fifth, etc. So yeah, could be some signs of some potential pace, but he did need to keep it on track at least.
Definitely could be, and as you were talking, we did switch to Indian Jesus to see a spin in the first corner on his current outlap, which is unfortunate for him. We've got Quick Killer coming into the pits, his counter half in the other Mercedes. Bit of debris there into the pit lane. I wonder if someone's had a bit of a mishap there. There's actually a tyre across the wall there. Oh, is it Nacho that has DNF'd?
I don't know. I can't see the tyre myself.
Going into the turn, coming out of turn 4, there's a wheel on the track, so I'm guessing there's a crash there. I don't think Lesty's car would have a wheel popped off after being disqualified. So
no,
interesting. We'll have a look again now. Yeah, there is a. I think Nacho's had a spin there. So a 106.007 James Bond is going to be the best he can do for this session.
Of course, yeah. Oh, it's still in P3, so he's going to have to cross his fingers that at least some drivers fail to improve significantly. He's already been put down a place by Jet, though. He's just going to P3 by 5 thousandths. As Mazzles, wow.
Yeah, Mazzles with a 105.5 there. We've completely missed that. There's a bit of a dirt being kicked up in turn 1 ahead of him on his in lap there, but a very good lap. Only one of 2 to be into the 105s at the moment, which is good to see. Hopefully we can get more in as the session prolongs. Got another off.
Yeah, Riordan.
Another off there for Riordan. He's staying on the gravel, taking it very slow. Hopefully he doesn't get beached. You can actually get that now on this game, which is quite interesting.
It did tend to happen occasionally last game and a game before as well, but fairly rare occurrence. But you'd always see a couple of those sort of weird incidents in a league racing season. Yeah, you have to be very careful when you're on the gravel, to say the least.
My spectator menu's not working there for some reason, and we're on with Mazzles now. I don't think, is he on? He actually might be. No.
No, he's 10 seconds down. He's
yeah, there we go. A lot of people in the pits now waiting for the last run of the session now. 5 minutes is quite awkward because you really don't want to waste the time and see if you can go out for another run and use all 4 sets, but it's that last section of the session which is really good for grip, so people are not going to want to waste that. As we see Harvey starting a lap now, and it's losing the rear bit of fishtail into turn 1 there. Tried to take it a bit more aggressive than he did in his first lap, which we did see, and we'll see if it pays off because it can still be faster than his first run. Takes turn 3 a lot nicer than he did. Carries a lot more speed onto the straight there, going down into turn 4. Not much traffic ahead of him, which is always great to see. He won't be focused on that though. He'll be focused on hitting these apexes down this right-hander. Clips the exit curb, which can be quite nice. Take it a little bit too much and you can lose a bit of grip in the rears, but he's taken the first left-hander very nicely there. Nice tight apex. Keeps it in diff, but he doesn't keep too much speed going around there. Coming around to the penultimate now, takes a nice apex, doesn't clip the curb, and he's spun it.
Oh, he's gone again.
Hopefully he doesn't get disqualified here.
Yeah, a bit of awkward positioning. Could say Danny is on a lap right now, and he's on a 16.2 in the first sector, though. He's got very low ERS level.
Oh yeah, he's derating. He's I think he forgot to turn the hot lap button off there.
Yeah, no, it looks like ERS is, I've heard it as well, like the double hot lap, which is something you could potentially do in games gone by, is definitely not really a possibility. I've seen a few people trying it, but they've been bottoming them out on ERS by the second straight, really. So, yeah, you're going to have to be very tactical with how you time the laps around this track for sure.
Yeah, definitely. You could easily do double hot laps last game if you had the fuel for it, which you normally did. Some tracks, obviously, the fuel is measured by weight per track, so you had quite an excess in Austria, which you still do now. I think it's about 3 odd laps you get given here. Somewhere like Hungary as well, where you get quite a lot, which I remember trying my hardest to burn it in my last runs. But
Yeah,
if the battery can't hold it for 2 laps, there's no point in having that fuel to go for it. And the degradation on the softs this game is so detrimental that doing a double run is probably nowhere near
yeah.
as effective
The
as it would have been.
overheating not crazy really.
Deluxe goes purple
Let's
first sector here, I think.
see if that's legit because obviously, for however long the purple glitch has been out in this game, it hasn't been fixed. But no, he's done a 16.4, which is a little bit off the pace, but it's still somewhat
Did he
competitive.
did he join late by any chance?
Yeah, he did. He did
Just
join
say he's
late.
got a mixed helmet as helmet. I was about to praise him for a wicked helmet then, but
Yeah.
misplaced credit there. But he's taken a nice apex there. He's come
Yeah.
off it at a bit of a weird angle, but he should still carry speed quite decently around there. Not taking a curve. A lot of people missing that curve. Something I do like to clip to get the car rotated a bit as he crosses the line to be in the sixes for a 106.3. Puts in P10.
Yeah, I was gonna say it does seem like, of course, this is Deluxe's banker, whereas everyone else has been everyone else has been here since the start. Deluxe only joined a few minutes ago, and he didn't have a lap on the board, so he definitely seemed quite tentative there, especially in the last sector. Quite completely avoiding those curves to avoid invalidation. He certainly just wants to get a lap on the board at this stage.
Yep, he does, but we've just missed, I think, Victor Mean, who has been the third to jump into the 105s,
Yeah,
the
he was there a
105.8.
few minutes ago, I think.
Yeah,
Around the time when we were watching Harvey, but yeah, he just jumped into there. Although, of course, Mazzel's still really dominant right now, 5.5, and he's doing a double out lap. He's just crossed the line.
yeah, that is a
Um,
very nice banker there. Going into your last run gives you a lot of confidence knowing that you've already got a decent time to fall back on, just in case you make a mistake. It just allows you to push that little bit harder to try and squeeze out the tenths around this track. He's going for his outlap, as you said. We've got Ash J having a spin there in the two left-handers. We've seen a lot of cars go off there, about 3 or 4. We had Nacho crashing the corner just before. Wonder if people are running too high tyre pressures, not knowing after patch how detrimental they can be.
yeah, possibly. No, I mean those tracks, those corners are always very treacherous to go around. There's just watching Fandango. He's got an Alfa Romeo in front of him, but they do just get out of the way. He's now sweeping down into the last sector. Just about to take 9. Let's see how much curve he takes. Just sort of glances it a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I like to do.
Yeah, it looks pretty nice. Still a little bit careful. Of course, he's the only driver without a lap on the board, but he goes up into P6, so showing some of that pace that he promised earlier. I think he might be trying to go for another one.
Trunder's equaling his time into the last sector, but around the penultimate corner he goes wide and he's going to lose time for that. He did. He lost a tenth and a half on top of the half tenth he was already down by. Any more on a lap now? We've got Deluxe, he was 5 tenths down at the moment. He's going to be jumping into the 0.5s. He crosses the line. Very decent lap. 105.7. Just squeezing in ahead of Victor Mean, and still quite the gap between him and Mazzles though in P1. So Mazzles is looking very confident knowing that he's got his lap, which he's on now. He's just about equal on his time coming out of Sector 1. Takes quite an early apex there, but he takes the execute pretty nice.
Riordan's jumped up. It's just 700th down on Mazzles as well, a 5.73, so really good time. What was the split in that sector?
I'm not too sure. He's a 10th down at the moment though, coming into the penultimate.
Looking good.
It's a decent last corner as well, very on edge with traction, and that's a wicked time. 105.3 from Mazzles.
Very strong. Victor Means spun it coming out of I believe that's turn number 6 there.
God, it's an absolute killer.
Yeah, it is a killer. That whole sort of section between second and third is just crazy perfection. But yeah, Mazzles with a superb time, showing some great pace. And I think that should be everyone done now because Deluxe and Victor, neither of them are on laps, and everyone else is in the pits. Yeah, we've got our grid of Cone Racing League on F122, and it is Mazzles on top.
Very, very decent showing. We've got quite a few people in the 105s. Energy Jet, the debutant for Cone Racing League, joined via ourselves for the Cone Cup when we hired a few from a separate league, little called Euro, and he's doing well here. He's just been squeezed out of the .5s. It wouldn't have made a difference anyway. He's got the best that he can with the lap time that he has. We got Nacho as well, who set his lap time very early, so it's very unfortunate that he crashed out because he did a 106.007 very early on. Would have been nice to see what he would have mustered up in those last two runs. He definitely had the time for him anyway.
Yeah, of course. He's still very much in it though. P6 is nothing to sneer at. But yeah, that's dominance. Exactly 2.5 tenths from the Danish driver. So yeah, probably. Well, we'll have to see how his racecraft is. But yeah, it's certainly a very promising start. We just got a couple questions in the chat. One from Christoph, who's in the league, member of the league, of course, now in Tier 2. He says, who do you guys think will be a contender for the race win today? Do you think there might be any outside bets, or do you think we're only going to see someone win from the top?
The odds on would be one of the top 2 or 3. Mazzles is looking very good on quali, but I mean, the setup changes after post patch. You can have a really good qualifying setup, but it can be absolutely dog water when it comes to the race. So I think we're gonna have to judge that on the first few laps. But I'm not too sure. It's going to be an interesting one. I think there will be a safety car or two, probably maybe 3 or 4. We don't know. It's Austria. It's a very short track. Everything's going to be congested. It's going to be interesting, that's for sure.
Yeah. Oh, just news on Leicester. He says he was stuck in a gravel and couldn't move, so he was indeed beached, and his car only moved.
We did mention that.
We did
That's
mention
funny,
it just after, ironically. So yeah, he was beached in that gravel that Riordan was going through. So yeah, and it's Bazza, assuming is
Bailey,
your mate.
yeah.
Says,
He's in spoons.
Not a lot of drivers know this, but if you don't worry about writing checks, you normally get pole. Oh my!
It's raining.
It's just.
Don't worry if I write checks or write rhymes. No, it's the other way around. That's an inside joke for Bailey there.
Yeah, terrible joke. I think.
It's not a joke. It's because he's addicted to a game called Life is Strange. I'm gonna vex this because he's doing my head in. Keeps sending me gifs about Life is Strange all the time, and he's addicted to it. So seek out Bailey, get out of spoons, and call someone. He should be racing anyway, but
4 points of Australia deep instead of right on this grid. Although I mean, I think he's a bit lucky because rain at Austria is not a welcome combination for many drivers. And yeah, we didn't know about this. We probably should have asked for a weather report.
Probably, but we all love a surprise. We'll see what happens. It makes sense for the big gaps in times now because maybe people have gone for a bit more safer setups than others.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, of course, tyre pressures will be very key here, especially considering how wet it is. And I think, I guess we'll see because you get all sorts of races at Austria. You could get one where it starts shucking it down and people have to switch from the inters to the wets. It certainly looks like inter conditions from where I'm looking. And you you might get one of those sort of increasingly rainy races, but you could also just get one that goes to dry eventually, and people have to time it and then pick the right tire, which could actually cause a sort of mix up to the order. So yeah, this is definitely going to be an interesting one to watch for sure.
Yeah, it is, and we're still looking at the members of Paddock Club a minute while everyone's getting the setup sorted. Thankfully, everyone is stuck to the instructions and not readying up quickly, giving a PS4 players a chance to sort their cars out as we just go now. So 30-second countdown until we get on the formation lap. Now that's another feature of this game. People are allowed to line up for the grid themselves rather than the AI taking over, which is very interesting. We'll see a lot of drivers angling the cars. I know there's a driver in Tier 1, Wuto Blau, who loves to angle his car about 90 degrees either way, so we'll wonder if anyone's going to be angling their cars into the lead runners today to try and get that gain and cut them off as soon as they can. But it's quite a short run though into Turn 1 round Austria, so it's going to be very hard to make that jump. But I mean, everyone's probably still learning the new the gear ratios with the new patch,
Yeah.
so it's going to be interesting.
No, I think so. I think the turn one at Austria, especially if you're starting from the back, you do tend to see a lot of chaos unfold because it's not particularly well. It's a sort of 90-degree corner, fairly blind apex, and a lot of cars trying to get through. People will go for a lot of opportunistic moves, especially considering that it's in the wet and there's going to be a wider variation of sort of quality of starts. So so you expect to see a lot of moves in the first few corners, but whether that will lead in chaos, we'll have to see. But yeah, everyone on the Inter tyres. And it says, I saw Energy Jet put something in the chat. He put, it seems weird because it says that there's rain at the top of the menu, but it says that the race will be sunny from the start. So I'm not quite sure. It's kind of a bit of, it could be drying up instantly, but it doesn't look like it's going to do that. So not too much clarity given to us from the game. So we're going to have to sort of work our way through it a little bit. I guess we'll see if it gets sunny really quickly or not, but if it doesn't, we're kind of on our own here. So we'll be just as confused as you guys are watching the stream.
Yeah, it will be a bit confusing. But what I can say is from watching a separate league race yesterday with some of the esports drivers on PC, I saw that Inter's weather, even after the rain had stopped, took a very, very long time to dry up. It was very different to last game where we could find that in a few laps where the dry line will form. Got a few disqualified drivers. Went Irish for a second then. I don't know what happened there.
Yeah.
We got a few disqualified drivers there as we follow Riordan into the second grid slot, and we're going to have lights out in a few seconds. We've just got Lesty, who did get disqualified, heading into the last grid slot. Nice helmet design from him.
Just to point out, Mazzles is quite far away from his grid slot, and it said he was disqualified from the session. Yeah, so he's quite closer to Jerry than he might like, so we're going to have to see the quality to start. Here we go.
Right, and we've got the lights coming out now. We've got 4 and the final 5th. As we get going, and it looks like Mazzles had a great start, quite the jump on Riordan considering he was pushed down. Everyone looking alright for now. No contact, so it was a bit of debris there, I think, at the back.
Just investigate. I saw a wing come off one of the cars at the back.
Oh, that's a big moment for the Ferrari of Gauthier Le Filon. Yeah. I think that's how you pronounce it. If it's wrong, I apologise. I will learn that as the season goes on. But he had a big snap on the rears there and just swung it into the grass. Looks like he doesn't have damage, just a bit of understeer.
I can confirm that. Oh, and there's an alpha in the wall. I was going to say Leslie got wing damage, but that guy Draper has been stuck in the wall, and I'm not quite sure what happened, if that was traction or a collision. But he is in P17 and has to do a lot of working back up. But that's not ideal for him. He's the only car out of the pack at the moment.
Yeah, we did just miss that, but we've got another one down. And Victor Mean, one of the favourites, in the comments section has a spin. It is a horrible day for Alpha. So far, anyway. I mean, it's only lap 1 of 36, so plenty of time for. And we've got another driver off, and it's Nacho again.
Oh no!
Got a full front wing off. That could be a safety car, and I think it could be.
Triple yellow flag.
We'll see. I think we might be okay. Gauthier Le Filon has just smacked it into a wall big time. It's really not looking good for the Ferrari powered.
And Draper's round again. Speaking of which, the Ferrari, another Ferrari powered car. I don't know. They're not slowing down, and there's no safety car coming out. But it's a triple. Oh wait, no, I saw I think I saw the board light up there. No. Let's see. Yeah, it is a safety. It's a virtual safety car. VSC.
Right. Well, we haven't been notified. Okay, it's gone. Right, there we go. Bit of confusion there. Sorry, everybody. Thank Codemasters for that one. But I think we get going now. And Mazzles has had an absolutely storming start. 2.5 seconds away from the competition. The Luxie into P2. Let's have a look at the details and the position changes. We got a few winners of this start. We've got Trunders gaining 4, Fandango gaining 4 into the podium position. That is crucial. We've got a few more gaining 3 and 2. Biggest losers though at the moment, Nacho and Victor Mean. Riordan lost 2 places, not too bad. He's still in the fight and contention for anything in this race so far. We've got an Alpha Tauri and it's the commentator's curse. It's the commentator's curse.
As soon as you say he's doing well.
Fandango, who I talked about, could still be on for the podium, and he's absolutely. I was about to say, I haven't streamed in a while, and I was about to to say something I was saying, just as a
Don't
personal.
worry, it happens to the best of us, Josh.
I bit my tongue.
I've had my moments on home stream, don't worry. Right, not.
But yeah, that is unlucky for Fandango.
Joy's going to be fuming. Didn't have the best of luck last season either, with a combination of internet and also some crashes. I know he had some very good qualifying pace throughout the season. Yeah, not too ideal for him at all. Of course, it is only pre-season, but yeah, it's very unfortunate to see him crash out so early when he was showing such good pace.
Yeah, everyone finding their gaps now as we see Trunders getting a bit of a snap there, fishtailing in the wet weather through the two left-handers, which have been notoriously hell for the drivers today. But Warrior Hunt's been the closest on track to a separate competitor. But in this condition, it's not going to be easy to make the pass, even if you are a bit faster. I think Trunders is going to do his best to make that car as wide as he can. Fernando might not be there yet, but he soon will be.
It's Draper going for his third spin, and I know you said he had some promising pace earlier when we were off stream, but it's not looking good for him at all. Maybe the wet conditions getting in his head a bit, but Draper's spanning. It was turn 7 again, I think. Treacherous area for the drivers. Can I just say, one person who is not having any problems at all is Mazel. He's 3.3 seconds clear. Seems to be putting some tension into the Luxy every lap, and his pace is looking phenomenal right now. So cross our fingers to him that he can keep it up. But yeah, right now it's looking like plain sailing for Mazel.
Yeah, he's looking really good. But all it takes is one spin. I shouldn't say that after what's happened to Fandango, but it would be interesting to see. I mean, we saw Max Verstappen taking a bit of a 360 in Hungary this past weekend. So even with a single issue, you can still go on to win the race, which I know some of these lot will still be striving for, even if they do end up making some mistakes throughout the race. Deluxy gaining one position off the start. He's doing pretty well. Let's have a look at battery. So we've got Mazzles, who's on a very good amount. He's hovering around 60.
Yeah.
Let's see if there's anyone who's a bit out of touch. Everyone seems to be hovering around, average is about 50 then by the looks of it.
A few guys on Wild Dog's on 35. I know he's been a bit aggressive with his, well, he's notorious for being a bit aggressive with his DRS. Also Trunders and Warrior Huntsman are around the 30 mark as well, so some drivers pushing a bit harder than others. Of course, Trunders for one has gained 5 positions at the start.
You got another spinner.
Very hard. That is another Alfa Romeo at the right. It's Draper again. Yeah.
Yeah, we're not going to be going to that because we're just rewatching the same thing over and over at the moment. It's not a very good start to the season for him. Well, we say that it's a pre-season race. If there's any time you want to be making these mistakes, it's now.
It is now. But yeah, 3-second penalty as well coming up right off the bat with the spin. It's been slightly embarrassing for Draper, but of course, you know, he's...
Wild Dog going for the move. Oh, it's very late defence from Ash JW. Wild Dog is going to be, well, he won't be shouting Quick Killer this time, but he will be shouting someone else's name. I think it's going to be Ash's after a bit of a late move there to defend the inside line. If I was Wild Dog, I would not be happy.
In the pits.
Yeah, he did make contact. I think there would have been damage there from Ash. He had an absolute phenomenal run on Ash. Coming out of the third to last right hander. Is that Draper again? Wild Dog's retired?
Hi.
Oh, come on, pal. You know.
No, maybe he's not in the mood today, but yeah, he's only 6 laps in. You know, it's enjoy so this pre-season.
Yeah.
Oh well. That's a shame to see the first retirement of the pits of the season. Of course, I mean, I can't really be saying much from my standpoint as well. I've had a few of those at my time in home, but yeah, definitely not the start that Wild Dog would have wanted. As Fandango leaves in anger.
Yep, and is that Draper again?
Lost in the pits.
Oh, we've got a is that Natch? No, who is that? They pulled out. Oh, it's never mind me. It's just Wild Dog's AI pulling out the pits. Yeah. I'd be confused for a second there. So yeah, the gaps all hovering about now. Not in the most exciting places, but we'll have to make do for now.
Jet is the only driver within 1 second of Riyadh, and he's been applying a consistent amount of pressure now, although it is very tricky to overtake in the wet. Has it stopped raining, Josh? I don't think...
No, there is drizzle.
Yeah.
It's not very heavy,
No,
but
it's
I
not.
think it's enough just to warrant the inters to stay for quite a long time still.
We'll have to see, but right now it's looking pretty dry. Well, Ash has broken. Yeah, a couple guys breaking into 1 second now. Rory Huntsman and Ash behind Indian Jesus, but otherwise the grid seems fairly spread out. Of course, it's kind of what you see with a wet league race. Some people can hack the conditions much better than others can, and that leads to wider gaps being formed.
Yeah. Right, so Warrior Huntsman breaking into the 1 seconds as well. We've got Jet also. We've got yellow flags again. And is that Draper again? Wow, safety car. That was well, imminent with how his race has been going so far. So at least this brings everyone back up into a group now. We can give ourselves a restart to watch. The rain has stopped, I think.
Did I just see the hard tyre? I did, so I can see Ash going onto the mediums.
You what?
Victor's got onto the hards. Indian Jesus is on the mediums, and Victor is on the hard. Victor is taking a stop onto the hards now. Yeah, so we're getting 4 drivers in Lesty now coming in as well.
Right, I'm watching Indian Jesus.
Yeah, let's see how the.
Because either this is the track it's going to be great, or it's going on you being framed.
I think the track looks very dry, honestly, mate.
Do you think?
I do. Let's see how it is for him.
He doesn't look. He's taking him very, very slow.
Yeah,
but do you know what? With the I don't know. Looks a bit greasy to me.
It does look greasy, but I think like this could. Oh, that's another one. Another driver who's had a very unfortunate start. Yeah, but I think with the and now we see Mazel's coming into the pits as well. I think the engineer might have told him to get on dries.
Yeah,
they're all coming in.
It would make sense.
Responding.
It's a gamble, but the thing is though, with it being a full safety car, you cut down the pit stop by probably half of the amount. And if you're grouping up, you spend in a few laps under the safety car, 2 or 3. It might just give you enough time for the track to dry into a line as you're coming around, and it might make that stop might make it quite useful where people who have decided to stay on the inters will have to go around. But I think everyone has decided that the track is good enough to drive on the dries now, as the majority of the grid are on them. We've got Gautier, Nacho and Harvey still on them, but we've just seen Nacho come in the pits to replace them, and Harvey has, but Gautier hasn't. He's got a drive for, so I'm not sure what his plans are for the rest of the race.
Yeah, is he? Yeah, so he's staying out, so he'll have to he can just cross his fingers that something will come his way in the race, because it's been an unfortunate start for him. I think why did Lefty fall back so much? I thought he was with the sort of like.
I'm not too sure.
Jesus, I don't know. I might have just misjudged the situation. But yeah, I'm just watching on his onboard. It looks drier on the first straight, then it starts to look a little greasier when you come onto the back straight out of 3. I don't know. It's going to be an interesting one for sure.
Yep, it is. We've got a lot of gaps with the back 3, so we will be having another lap of the safety car, but I think everyone's close enough to not warrant a second after that, so we will be getting going on the start of lap 11.
Yeah.
That's Mazel's leading.
Just got an update for you from Wild Dog. So he was angry at Ash, of course. He said that and he said that the guys in the pit didn't change his wing, so that's why he retired.
Okay.
He didn't want to go around again, which becomes a bit more of a valid reason, to be fair. But yeah, so Ash apologised to him. He said he didn't mean it at all. He said he was moving over to let Wild Dog through, which is obviously not what materialised in the end. But I've had a similar situation at a similar corner before with someone who I think was a lap down when I was in a league with ghosting off, and I tried to let him through that corner, and he thought I brake checked him. So
yeah. So obviously the drivers won't be communicating with each other, so it was all down to the way they behave on track to translate things, and I think it was just a little too late from Ash to the pass through on such a short straight. I mean, Wildog had an amazing run on him. It was going to be quite the overtake if he managed to stick his braking zone, but unfortunately not. No.
Oh well, these mistakes happen. It's fortunate that it's happened in pre-season rather than when there are proper points on the line. But yeah, not ideal, and the safety car is coming in, so we'll see what Matos does now. See how he dictates the pack.
This is going to be interesting to see where he goes. There is a external pit limiter for the cars now in this period while we're waiting for the safety car to come in, which I personally hate. I spun yesterday actually after the limiter was just clicked off as the safety car comes in, so they're not going to be able to burn out the rears, and the hard runners are really going to miss that opportunity. Curious, I'm trying to look at the temperatures on the panel there. He's just gone quite early on, hits his apex okay, doesn't hit the curb, but probably better off not to in these conditions, but he's got a brilliant start once again.
Riordan's got a big run on Deluxey here. He's just over a tenth behind, so could we be seeing something coming in as Deluxey goes a little bit wide now out turn 1, and Riordan's got a switch really slicking the ERS on. He's going side by side with him, going up into turn 3. They sweep through now, they make a little bit of contact, it's just a tiny bit, not enough to send Deluxey off the track, and Riordan goes down the inside trying to hold it, and he does make that move. Excellent job from the Irishman. Can Deluxey come back at him now? Of course, this is giving Mazzles a healthy run into the lead.
The mediums are going to be interesting. We've got Victor Mean losing some positions there. No one off track, which is good to see, but maybe he's just had a bit of a fishtail with them hard tyres. Majority ahead of him are medium runners now. MSC Trunders getting overtaken there, I think, by Warrior Huntsman. As we see Indian Jesus get an absolute run on Trunders there. Trunders struggling with the tyres. He's got his teammate behind. Is he going to let him pass through? This is a similar situation to how Ash was. Rolls reversed, and he just can't make any move there. Was it close?
It was Trunders just sort of braked a bit early, and Ash made a bit of contact with his wing. And there's a car off. Oh, it's Gautier.
Contact, I think.
Was it contact between Victor and Gautier? Yeah, they're both off now. The two guys who haven't really met expectations in this first race, and Gautier's coming to the pits now. I don't know if he had. I can see his pit crew coming out in the distance. I'm not too sure. No,
these mediums are already kicking in for Riordan in these conditions. They would have been up to heat a lot easier than the hards, but Mazzles has just got a good bit of pace. He's a little bit less ERS than Riordan, but Riordan's still holding a decent amount of battery. But he's just got the tyre advantage at the moment. Deluxey doing well to stay in position where he lost one off the restart with Riordan, but he's still done well with the hards. He must have got them up to temp pretty well. We've got Huntsman just coming through past Energy Jet. Deluxey, that is crucial. 3 seconds for the man we've just commentated on. It's the commentator's curse, strikes for the second time today.
Yeah, he went wide at he just extended at 7 there. A very easy place to do it, and I was just going to say, like, people all setting the fastest lap of the track is drying rapidly for sure. But yeah, especially on a drying track, the difference between the mediums and the hards is very significant, as Riordan's now going to have a look at Mazzles. He's not using his ERS into this straight. I think he might just be looking to try and get the DRS for that back straight.
He's done well to compromise Mazzles' line there. He's really sold him a job.
He's not turning the ERS on now either, though. He had a slightly awkward exit, so I think Riordan's just trying to sort of measure his attack, maybe sticking the DRS of Mazzles, and then really go for it when he can get him at his weakest. But this is about as, of course, allowing Deluxey to catch up a little bit. He does need to stay in that DRS, because especially considering he has a 3-second penalty, he'll just fall off and create a train behind him. And yeah, he needs to avoid racking up more penalties, so that it doesn't become too much of a disadvantage to him, because I do think the majority of drivers will have penalties by the end of the race. This is a notoriously difficult track to keep it in the limits for, of. So you just have to be extra careful now, although he's gained a few tenths there on Riordan. And
Energy Jet, unfortunate. He's just had a spin there as we get back on board Riordan. If I was Riordan, I'd want to make this advantage last on these mediums, get past and build a gap as quick as possible until those hards really kick in and become the dominant tyre. He's done so in getting past him, but can he keep ahead of him into the second DRS straight, the second of 3 of the track? Yeah, he's Ash. He's in the wall. He's got no front wing.
Oh no. Round at 3, very, very easy to do.
Yeah, can be done very easily.
Yeah, if you get your apex wrong and just get the foot on too early, you will go round like a spinning top.
Victor Mean taking an easy position from Energy Jet after his unfortunate spin. You've got Warrior Huntsman getting very close now to Deluxey. Another penalty there, as you can see at the top for Quick Killer _21. Warrior Huntsman is just in the tail of Deluxey, but Deluxey is still in the DRS range of P2 here, so it's going to be a hard overtake for Warrior Huntsman. Not only is it hard because of that, but it's going to be hard because of his lack of battery. Practically on 0 going into the straight here. Deluxey holding a mere but fair 20% hovering at the moment, and then Riordan.
So I was going to say Indian Jesus is, oh, he's gone really late. He's braked super late. He's nearly hit the back of Deluxey there. But yeah, he was ploughing his ERS, of course, because as you said, Warrior Huntsman is almost on 0. He's going to go for the move again now.
Oh, it's a Mercedes on the inside of turn 4.
Oh, a Red Bull, and he's made it without contact.
No, that is not art imitating life, because otherwise it would have been a completely different story. Makes a very good move there down the inside. Personally, I quite like the outside of that corner on this game, but he's done very well to get the car stopped into the break-in there.
Yeah, very good job from Indian Jesus. I was just going to say now, Riordan is not really extending that gap as much. Now the track's got to be dried and there isn't as much pace difference. And Matters, of course, has a very strong pace naturally. He's staying in that DRS zone, and that could be crucial for him. But of course, he's now built up a little bit more ERS as Riordan was on the attack prior to them changing positions. So yeah, the tables have turned very much here.
Yeah, it's gonna be tight. Quick Killer, the other Mercedes now, just within that half second of Lesty. Lesty's built up a few positions after getting that safety car, and Quick Killer is practically pushing him through there at the moment. Quick Killer on the hards as well, so he's doing a very good job of keeping pace with these guys. But as we go up to the top 4 now, gaps are just hovering now around about 4 or 5 tenths. Deluxey has just been broken away a bit from the top 2, which he's not going to like, because he's got 2 cars waiting to hunt him down. No intended pun, but Huntsman is just behind him with Indian Jesus, so they'll be looking to pounce.
Deluxey pushing hard, he's trying to get into that DRS. And Mazel seems to be losing
Indian
a bit
Jesus.
of time.
I thought he was going to get good traction and go for a move to turn 1. But he's got the battery. I think we'll see a move here in this straight if he does get that button pushed. And he does. He's got the power on. It's going to be a simple one. But is Warrior Huntsman... That's a lovely camera angle. Is he going to try and fight it? No, he's not. He's going to sit behind and just hopefully build a bit of battery back up. Oh, he's... Oh, that is...
Oh, no.
Oh, God. That's unfortunate.
He's wetting up now, Warrior Huntsman.
Indian Jesus has done very well to recover that, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, that is so unfortunate. It was such a simple move, but it was weird because I think Huntsman did actually get traction out of the corner quite well. He could have gone for a switchback by the looks of it, but he's just clipped the rear, locked the tyres. Well, interlocked the tyres, not locked his own fronts, but very unlucky for Indian Jesus there. Warrior Huntsman obviously quite sympathetic, waiting down a bit, but he's already paid the price there, unfortunately, for Indian Jesus. Is he just spun off there?
He has, yeah. He has gone. He's gone in anger. Time 9.
That's worse.
Yeah, cool. What was looking like a very good lap just over a minute ago for Indian Jesus. He's now gone into an absolute disaster for him. And yeah, I was going to say, Warrior Huntsman clearly wasn't intentional.
Mazzles is going to be getting a move on him, I think. Sorry to interrupt, but I think Deluxey just hasn't got the battery. He had the run on him because Mazzles had a really poor exit, taking a lot of the sausage curve. but I mean, hasn't considered battery enough Deluxey to warrant the move.
But yeah, both drivers very close now. Of course, the top three now pulling away after that into between Huntsman and Jesus. Yeah, Engine Jesus now stuck all the way down in 11th on those medium tyres as well. I was going to say those medium tyre runners will almost certainly have the box again. I believe, Josh, if I'm not mistaken. So
I expect they will, yeah. I think the hards will be fine to get there. They might be a bit rough at the end, but with how high the temps on their mediums will be at the end of the stint, it's going to be tough.
Yeah, Roy Huntsman is now heading into the pits. I don't really know why.
For some reason, I thought you said Roy Hodgson then.
Roy Hodgson, yeah. Oh, if you're listening, Roy, I'm sure you are. You're always welcome in Cup, mate. Yeah, Roy Huntsman coming out on the hard tyres in P11 to complete his final stint, and that is Gautier who's gone again. It's not been a good day for the. I think he's French.
I tell you what, has there been a Ferrari? Has there been someone spinning on their own that's not a Ferrari powered car? Because that is art imitating life, isn't it? I mean, we've seen a lot of Ferrari engine powered cars in real life not having the best of luck, same as we've had in our first pre-season race today for Tier 3.
Yeah, no, I think it was Indian Jesus, the first guy to spin, who was in a Ferrari powered car. So yeah, I don't know, maybe it's that engine sound throwing them off. I've always found it does sound a little bit less stable than the others, but maybe that's just me going insane.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I don't quite like the Ferrari engine sound because it's quite. I think the downshifts are quite mellow and hard to hear. We got Indian user a 3 second there. Look, Gautier, I think, spinning again. Very late on the brakes there for Mazzles. The grip is coming into them hards very nicely now. He's putting a battery down, but I think so is Riordan by the look of it. And he must have done because he's down to 20% and stays ahead. Those mediums are now starting to look like a balanced act with the hards, which is not going to be nice for Riordan. He knows the inevitable is going to happen. He doesn't know how much battery Mazzles has unless he has a very good engineer who is watching the stream, and if you are, hello. But it's going to be tough. He's got Deluxey being carried behind Mazzles as well, who will be looking to snatch that first position from Riordan, but he's looking good still on the mediums. We'll have to see what the longevity of them is when we've got Gautier spinning again, which we'll just keep in our minds. But gaps now. I think Trundles is going to be going for a move on Lester. Lester taking quite a defensive line to turn 1, which I think is a bit unnecessary as he goes. I think, yeah, he might compromise his exit there by doing that, and he's definitely going to be getting taken on this straight. Or is Trundles trying to play the waiting game, which I think he is. He was ahead, I think, into the DRS, and he hasn't played off well for him. He's got ahead, but he's compromised his exit speed onto the next straight, and he's squeezing Lester quite a bit. All completely fair and on game. I think he's defended very well, but is Lester going to get the traction? He's got enough traction to warrant a challenge into the corner, but I don't think he's got enough to warrant the overtake until he gets into the next one, and he can't. Gets a bit of a moment on the rears there, but a very good attempt to defend there, Lester, and Emerson Trundle's done it very well and quite cleanly, which is good to see.
Yeah, absolutely. It was superb
racing. Oh God, it's just gone from bad to worse for Mercedes once again. Bit of a. Oh, that is unfortunate. Was it Lester that had the moment there in front of Quick Killer?
He did. He fishtailed a little bit coming out of 9. He stamped on his brakes, locked them really quickly, and there was really nothing that Quick Killer could have done. They're so close, and that's just sort of an instinctive brake from Lester, not a brake check of any means. But it has had really unfortunate consequences for Quick Killer, who's now running without an end plate and he'll be losing a lot of pace.
Yep, Nacho getting a compromising exit there in turn 3, but he's got enough of an exit to stay ahead of Energy Jet, who is very close behind him. He's only 2/10 behind on the first straight. Looking for an overtake, but he didn't quite go for it. Decided to wait for the next straight and couldn't pull it off. But I think he's going to be looking to do it at some point soon. He's got decent pace behind him. He is on the harder tyres, but at this point I think they're starting to become the more admirable ones, at least.
Yeah, definitely.
They've both got good battery though. He's in the pits, yeah.
Yeah, he's coming into the pits.
Wow,
so, yeah.
14 laps on the mediums. And that's when they're finding struggle with them. That's interesting.
Rory Huntsman came in even earlier. He came in about 3 laps ago on those cars with a yellow flag. And that's a Haas. And is that Leslie? Yeah,
must be.
Leslie.
Yeah. See if he's got any damage. He's got his right end plate. Has he got his left? I think he does. So no visual damage for us. Might have just been a bit of a spin. These cars, thankfully, when they do spin on quite a narrow line. So lucky to keep out of the wall there. But we got Nacho just on the back of Harvey here. So he's going to have cold hards. We've just seen him come into the pits. So yeah, you can definitely see that with his exit. He's taking a bit of a more cautious foot to the pedal there, or finger to the trigger, depending on what he runs. Energy Jet has just dropped back now. He's about 5.5 seconds from the podium position. Is Trunders. Well, we're gonna have to see them pit first.
Yeah, of course. I mean, just one thing to note is, do you think Deluxe? I'll just check the pit stop history. If it lets me. Yeah, pit stops, because I know Deluxe was on the hards originally, and then he went onto the hards again. Oh no, yeah, no, he went from the hards to the mediums actually. On lap 21. So he wanted to stick the mediums on and either go for an undercut, or he just didn't think his hards were going to make it.
Well, when the safety car did come out, there was still a very long time of the race to go, so hards would have been the choice if you were expecting to stay on them. But if you were expecting a safety car maybe, or some other factors, you might have wanted to go on the mediums and outplay that waiting game to see if you could maybe use that extra set of softs at the end. Although, I mean, seeing 15 laps mediums not really pulling the pace, I could imagine how little the softs could last. And Indian Jesus goes round. Talking of softs, he's just gone round on him on 3 laps old. I wonder if that was down to driver error or if he had contact. Not too sure.
I had a look at it, and just to speak on this, Mazzles is getting very close to the order, but he's actually lifting off, so he doesn't want to commit to a move or get too close. He's sweeping onto the apex, gets a slightly awkward exit, has to be said, as the mean he just let the 2 go through. That didn't give Riordan DRS, I think. But yeah, Mazzles not using his DRS. He seems to be quite conservative about it, which is interesting because I think he should know that Riordan will have to box again, whereas he might not be in that same boat. But for now, he's just trying to stay in touch and not go for anything risky, sort of trying to preserve his already good position, which I think is far from an unwise thing to do.
Lesty was getting close there as you were talking, but he just couldn't manage to get it out of 2 and 3 against his teammate. Got Victor Mead just on the back of Jet now. Jet is gaining quite a lot here. In the last lap we saw that he was 5 seconds down. I think that is Indian Jesus. Might be calling it a day in the pits. I wouldn't particularly blame him. They've had a bit of rotten luck, the Mercedes, today. Very wide line from Energy Jet there. Yeah, we do see Indian Jesus getting into the pits and hanging the gloves up for today anyway. We've got Mazzle still within a second of Riordan. Riordan derated now, and wow, Mazzles has saved his battery very well compared to his competitors. 80% at the moment. I mean, once he gets out Riordan out of the way when he comes to his pit stop, it's going to be a sweet sail. So, big moment there for Riordan there. That was interesting. It didn't look like too much rear kick out. I think he just had a bit of oversteer on the front there. And we've got the yellow flags. No to worry, that is just Indian Jesus' car coming out the pits.
Riordan seems to have another moment going through 9 there. Definitely seems to be
struggling more.
Yeah. So Mazzles is gonna, I think he's gonna look to capitalise here. He's not using his ERS, but he's getting very close already, and very close in the braking zone. Is he going to stick it down now? He is. He's going to put his ERS on. he's closing up so quickly on Riordan, and I think the Irishman does have to let this one go. And Mazzel's already multiple car lengths front, and that is the lead of the race changing hands once again.
He's going to have to jump in the pits now, Riordan. I mean, that car looked so front limited then throughout those 4 corners. The rears looked okay, but the fronts just looked like they couldn't handle any turning. If you look on board with Riordan, actually, you can see the graining on the tyres, and you can see an exact line of where you can see the difference in how the tyre starts and how it has ended up. 5-step penalty there for Harvey spinning the pit lane, speeding. Sorry, not spinning. But look at that. Oh, he's already out now. All it took was 1 sector really to push him out, and he's coming into the pits. He's taking the correct pit entry. He does go over the line a bit, but he's done the best to keep into the rules. He's not getting an advantage. And it is pre-season, so you know.
He's definitely going to get the softs on now, I reckon. Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
He's got 8 laps. Hopefully they won't go too quick. I don't know exactly how quick the soft deg is on this track or anywhere, but yeah, he's going to look to gain his positions back. I think he's going to come out well ahead of Warrior Huntsman. Maybe he'll look to get a move off Deluxey straight off the back. I never know.
No, I don't think so. Ooh. Depends how quick these softs do dry up, but Warrior Huntsman, Deluxey, is derating, so that's looking like Christmas for Riordan at the moment as he gets the tyres heated up. Softs are not too bad to get heated up during the race. We're on a decent amount of fuel, and the track will be quite hot, and it's a lot of fast change of direction corners, so they'll be getting fired up pretty quick. Seeing if we got any moves on the way. We've got Nacho, who is draining the ERS, and it looks like he's going to dive it. Is he going to send it? And he does, but Quick Killer is not. He didn't want to take any risk there, as we see Nacho just cutting a bit of grass. Something that Mercedes would have done a few years back.
Oh, yeah.
That was interesting because Quick Killer was very, very forgiving on the outside of turn 4 there, making sure there was definitely no contact. I think he thought of the bigger picture there, and he's came out on top because of it. Trender's coming into the pits for his softs. Yeah, he spent quite a lot of time on the mediums.
As is Victor, who actually spun there in P6. He's changing his wing now, so that's going to lose him a fair bit of time. Unfortunately for Victor, very good after and pacing quality and showing flashes of it throughout the race. But yeah.
Bit of a saving grace for Quick Killer here. He's got a soft runner just ahead of him, who I think he might just get into the DRS. I think he's out at the moment.
He's just missed it.
Not sure, about 7/10 behind. Not going to be looking for a move this lap, but I think Quick Killer, I don't think he's going to have the pace to stay with the soft runner of Trenders, unfortunately. It would have helped him, but not today. Riordan.
It's gone round in P12, and yeah, Riordan is staying in the DRS of Deluxey. Interestingly, he hasn't passed him yet, as of yet, but yeah, they're all tailing behind Jet. Of course, Mazzel is just absolutely miles in the lead now, and assuming those cars don't fall off a cliff and he keeps the car facing in the correct direction, then that's going to be an easy win for him. But it'll be very interesting to see the battle for P2 here. Of course, the main differentiating factor is that Deluxey does not has a penalty, whereas the other drivers do not. So if they can keep it on track in the next 6 laps, they are almost guaranteed a podium.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. I think very defensive there from Jet, moving straight to the outside line. I think you want to get as much of an angle of turn in you can for the first left-hander as he keeps his position. Interesting. Usually you think the soft runner will have the massive advantage here, but he is the 3rd man in DRS. As we go for a move with Deluxey, Energy Jet moves over a bit too late. He's lucky it was wheel to wheel and not wheel to wing, and Deluxey luckily just gets ahead.
Oh, Jet!
Oh, was that a big moment for Jet?
Huge moment coming out of 10 there, and he's managed to, I think, Riordan's avoided damage. Yeah, he turned in.
And he's gone.
And he's gone. Those tyres providing no grip. And yeah, might be a bit of a worry for the hard run as well. There's only Mazzel's who's been the tyres for the exact same amount of time, but yeah, looking like a real lack of grip on the hards now. So
Yeah,
yeah,
well, as I was saying before the spin, what was I saying before the spin? Yeah, right. So the soft runners are usually you think they would be the easiest and quicker tire to get those overtakes, but he was in a third. He was the third man of a DRS train, but now with Energy Jet out of the way, that is not an issue for him anymore. He's a second, which means he's the only one benefiting from the DRS, and that's a spin there from the McLaren and also the Mercedes there of Quick Killer. Luckily for Mazzles, there was no DNS because if I mean Mazzles has got about a lap until the safety car period ends.
all shot. Yeah,
And if that does come out anytime soon, it's going to be a big detriment to Mazzles. Oh! And is that a retirement or is that a crash?
it's going straight off, which is a little suspicious.
Okay, we'll give us a second. We'll see if it gives us a safety car or not. I don't think it will. But that might. I mean, there's another car of Victor Mean off in them left-handers once again. Just before the right-hander, I think he's gone off, but he's carried on driving, and so has Harvey. So no worry at the moment for a safety car. And I think as Mazzles comes, oh no, I was in the pits. Never mind. False alarm.
Victor's heading into the pits as well.
Oh no! And again, it's Harvey.
Oh, but Harvey's doing the spinning top today. You can see the side of his car is wrecked. It looks very muddy.
Oh wow, yeah, that looks like an abstract art piece. Very dirty.
Yeah, honestly. He's honestly his way through the last section course with the like of Warren Hampton, catching up to him for lap, and it's not a skip to Harvey at all. He's staying out with no wins, which is a little weird.
But, what is that? Alfa Romeo doing in the pit exit? What's going on? Alright, it's gone now. Never mind.
He retired from pits.
Well, I don't think a safety car can come out now, so I think as long as Mazzles keeps it on the track, he'll be alright. And I mean, he's even got a big enough gap to where if he does have a bit of an off, he can still contest for the win. But we've got Deluxey and Riordan. Riordan getting a bit closer now. Both of them are really starving for battery.
Yeah,
I mean, with a soft advantage, I really would have thought Riordan would have been able to save a bit and be a bit conservative, but I think he's just tried too hard to get the move done early and build that gap. I mean, he does actually, looking at the bigger picture, doesn't actually have to go to a move at all. He's sat behind someone with a penalty. Riordan's looking pretty clean for penalties. I don't know how many warnings he's on. But
yeah. Go ahead.
no, I'm just wondering. That's all. Maybe you can have a look on the race director.
Yeah, I'll have a little look. But yeah, I think Deluxe's had that for a while as well. So Riordan has had either one or no warnings. Yeah, he's had no warnings his entire race system. Brilliant. So yeah, he's looking fine now. I think what might have happened, just a bit of speculation here, he might have got some non-visible challenge, because although when Energy Jet had his moment at turn 10, I think I might have seen like a little sort of jump from the Ferrari, like as if he had made contact from behind, which might have caused a little bit of damage to Riordan's car. So that it looked like he had a lot of understeer going through turn 6. I mean, that could be attributed to the dirty air, but I'm not 100% sure. So we'll just see him going through again now. But no, he looks a lot better now. But it was much more of an understeering moment than on the lap before. So I think he's fine. But yeah, the softer time is probably not as strong.
It does sound like he's picking up the throttle quite late though.
Yeah, it was a bit of an awkward sort of like sweeping motion there, going through that corner, but he looks okay. He just looks like he's losing a bit of time now, so those softs are already outside the sort of super quick window. It's really very narrow on this game, it has to be said.
Yeah, they're I mean, we saw in the past weekend at Hungary drivers using the soft for about 20 laps, so it's not, I guess we haven't seen the life of a soft around Austria well, not too recently, so it's not fresh in my mind, but not too sure. Defensive there from Deluxey.
Yeah.
So we're getting to the final 2 laps now.
One move. Yeah, break himself in 3. Yeah,
well, is that Leslie getting close now to Nacho? It is. Good battery from Leslie, holding it very well. Same with Nacho. Respect to the two for holding the battery for so long, being patient, but I guess they just haven't had much able to battle at the moment to go for it. But I think Lesty's going to be slamming the pedal down now as he does, and Nacho can't really contest at all. 12 lap old hards, 9 lap old softs, so there could be a chance for Nacho to bite back on DRS straight. He's got the battery to do it now. It's going to be interesting. Energy Jet getting close to Warrior Huntsman. Also, Huntsman derating at the end of the lap, which means he does have under 10%, which does put your engine power down by a percentage, which is why you always want to manage your battery as well as you can. Energy Jet has done so, and he's got about 35%. Not using it here, which would be the smart play. You don't really want to be aggressive into this corner because you know you've got that extra bit of straight and the double DRS to make the move. Goes for a nice apex there, and he doesn't need to use the DRS because Warrior Huntsman has he's bottled it.
He has fumbled, and I don't think he's actually lost any sort of positions due to his penalty there because MSD Trundles was well in the 3-second range. But that's unfortunate for him. It's not how he'd like to finish the race, and it's probably a habit he wants to avoid getting into when the stakes are higher. But yeah, not the best end for Warrior Huntsman.
And here comes Mazzles.
Mazzles across the line, absolutely dominant.
Lovely, lovely from Mazzles. Absolutely, we did say it would be one of the top ones to take the crown today, and it has been him. Riordan done very well though to build up on them softs at the end. Stayed in P2, didn't gain any, didn't lose any, so not a bad day at the office, but I'm sure he would have wanted to do a bit better than that and take Mazzles. But I mean, Mazzles' pace was looking phenomenal. Deluxey also staying in the same position, so I mean the podium was set out from the very beginning.
Yeah, that's been an entertaining race. Of course, some ups and downs, of course, with the rain at the start, but eventually the cream, I guess, at this track, of course, the fastest three in qualifying, did indeed rise to the top. A few guys like Fandango, for example, seemed to show some very good pace, but had a few unfortunate moments. Well, only one really, and it led to him crashing out the race. Which was, but these three did very well throughout, for sure.
Was unlucky we didn't get to see much of Danny Fandango today, but I'm sure he will in the season coming along now, which will be not this week, but a week in about. Is it next week or the week after?
The next race, the first race. I believe it's next week. I think it is next week.
Well, there is your podium. I'm going to skip through now. The full classification. Sorry, we got Mazzles, Deluxey taking the perfect podium there from qualifying. Anyways, we got MSC Trenders gaining a lot of positions there to get P4. Well done to him, staying out of the penalties as well. One of the few to do so with Jet, Nacho, and also Mazzles as well, which is nice to see everyone else below DNF, so they're not going to count. Lesty jumping up with a lot of positions there to P8. We've got Nacho P7, Energy Jet P6 after an unfortunate spin. Same with Huntsman there. And the round off the top 10, we got Harvey, Ash in P9 after that unfortunate collision with Wild Dog, who did end up getting DNF. We got first DNF was Fandango. We got Wild Dog, Draper, Gautier, LeFelon, and then to round, we also had Indian Jesus, Victor Mean, and Quick Killer, and that would be the full classification today. I'm a bit busy, so I'm not going to stick around for interviews. I'm not sure if we'd be doing them anyway as a pre-season race, but I am going to leave it off there, everyone. So thank you for joining us. We will be doing the races on Thursday for Tier 2 and Tier 1. So stick around for them. I'm not sure exactly on the times, but they will be plastered around in the Discord with plenty of pings for the F1 drivers. So we will see you on Thursday and hopefully for the rest of the season. Thank you very much. It's been Josh and Ben, and we'll see you next time.